I think some people like my page because I have a little bit more of a lighthearted approach sometimes to sobriety, and I don't talk about a lot of really intense or sad experiences all the time. I don't talk about specific drug experiences or specific like blackout experiences and the darker side of drinking, which a lot of people do on this app, and that's very useful. Um, I focus a little bit more on the differences of before and after. So my life before when I was drinking and my life now, and little things along the way that I've noticed that are positives. But one thing I will say is that I don't really think I would be able to have gotten sober if my actual partner, my husband, did not stop with me. I would have been able to stop, but I don't know if our relationship would have been able to continue in the same way. I don't know if any of you people have experienced something similar. Like if you are a drinker, and I mean like a drinker, not like a, once in a while, oh, I maybe a glass of wine now and again. I mean like a drinker. Like I drank 3 to 6 nights a week for like over 20 years. I drank a lot. You can say that's normal, and there's lots of people out there who look at that as normal behavior, but I actually don't think that's normal. And now that I don't drink at all, I definitely don't think that's normal. I think I was a functioning alcoholic for a million years. And I also always had relationships with people who drank, right? That's, of course. Of course. And depending on how miserable I was at what period of my life or the amount of security and stability that I had and, you know, level of trauma I was at, basically, in the depth of my active addiction, it would depend on the level of alcoholic man or partner or friends that I was attracted to and that I would have in my life, right? And my husband and I have always been heavy drinkers together. Like that is literally what we had in common. Like on our first date, we went kind of bar hopping and got super fucking drunk together, and then we're up early the next day and doing our bike rides, and we were both like very highly functioning but heavy drinkers. And I just really want to encourage anyone out there who is considering stopping drinking or who has stopped to just really evaluate the relationships around you in your life, because yes, I still have heavy drinkers in my life. I try not to see them as much, but I do because I can't control their behavior, and if I want them in my life, then that is just their decision, and that's my decision to hang out with them too, right? So it's like, okay, when they get too drunk or if you're uncomfortable in any way, then you got to leave or you got to do whatever you do to protect your own sobriety at any means necessary. But I don't know if I would be able to be successful with my sobriety if my husband hadn't stopped, like my number one partner. Like if he was still a drinker, I honestly don't know if I could be as strong in my sobriety as I am now, or even be with him. Like let's say he just didn't want to address that he had a problem drinking, or that alcohol was causing destruction. Like I don't know if I could have continued. And he knows that. Like literally, I now have a thing in our marriage because he'll once in a blue moon go on like a guys trip, and like if the guys are drinking, like he will have drinks, like, and that's fine. And my rule is like no alcohol in our house, no alcohol in our marriage, and no alcohol around our kids or in our relationship. From other people, it's fine. Like if we have friends who bring wine over, it's totally fine. But in our marriage, there's no alcohol welcome anymore. And like that for me, sobriety by any means fucking necessary. Like that is now my way of living because I'm not going back to where I was before. So that is something that I've just kind of realized, like, whoa, is that okay? Like, do I need to do like even more work on myself to like be even stronger in my sobriety? Whereas like, because like other people are going to do what they're going to do. So I just am realizing more and more, like, I just don't want alcohol around me. Like, I don't even want the possibility of it. So it's really amazing that he has stopped with me. But at the end of the day, it is 100% my decision. And that comes even more into like the sort of the discussion of boundaries. Like, I guess my boundaries around alcohol are even higher than I realized they were. Cause I'm like, there's no room for debate with me on this. And I do love that. I do love that I'm feeling like even more committed to just like, no, I'm never going back there. So it's just an interesting time of being like over a year and a half into sobriety and feeling things like even more sort of like in an analytical way with alcohol and with the way that it comes into my world and the way that other people come into my world with it. And recognizing like, whoa, I was even more of a disordered drinker all those years than I even realized that I was, even though people tell me that I was normal. It's an interesting topic. I feel like people in AA probably talk about this a lot more than people not in AA, and I don't attend AA. I just watch other people's content, and I have a community here, and then I have some sober friends, obviously, that I hang out with, and we do talk about sobriety a lot. What are your thoughts on this? Is your partner sober with you as well? Does this bother you? Like, I have a girlfriend who's been sober for like 25 years and her husband drinks. Like, I don't know. I guess everybody's different. How does this affect your life? I'm interested in learning more about this. Alcohol in marriages, alcohol in partnerships, boundaries, that whole thing. It's pretty interesting.